Serious, what is a hobby that you've always wanted to get into, but have no idea how? Redditors who do this hobby, what the best way to get into it? Attention! Serious tag notice jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment, parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit, message, compose, to =r, askreddit, if you have any questions or concerns. I'm a male, and am from Mexico, so I was always told that sewing was for girls, but I always wanted to learn how to make my own clothing. I always loved the idea of being well dressed. I'd like to try D&D, but I know nobody who plays or would be interested. And being married with a kid on the way, I have a feeling it'd be near impossible to really dedicate myself to a group. Piano. I've always loved music, but my creative outlet was drawing and painting because I was just better at it. But I love the way music evokes mood and stirs emotions with such immediacy. I started learning guitar for a bit in high school but went to college and didn't stick with it. I'd love to learn piano because I think it is the most versatile instrument, but I feel overwhelmed by the amount of work involved. The technical aspect of playing, learning to read music again, diving into music theory. This should be a sub. Or does anyone know of something similar? I want to get into glassblowing, I don't have the space or money. Maybe one day when I buy a house I can set up a little shop. Small-scale farming, nothing to mail money off, but if I was able to provide myself with fresh produce half the year I'd be happy. It seems like a skill that would have to be taught and very hard to learn from a book though, and I get very odd looks when I try and bring the subject up being a mid-30s male mechanic. Darn stereotype, said it. I was not expecting this type of response. DKU everyone for all the encouragement and advice. I am going through all of them and making notes. Yeah, I am that kind of old young guy. It's be determined this is something that I will practice and prep for over the coming winter, and next spring I will start my first small food crop. Basic auto repair, maintenance. Not necessarily a hobby, but it'd be nice to know how to do more than change my own air filters. Oil changes, brakes, how to change a tire, etc. Edit, wasn't expecting this many replies. I really appreciate everyone's suggestions, feedback. Basic car maintenance seems like the kind of thing everyone should be able to figure out, we just rely on convenience more often than not. I like to get my hands dirty and work on things, and think it could be really rewarding for me to work on my own car. Plus lady who can fix stuff points. Producing electronic music. Not to become a star producer, just to record some tunes I have in my head. Software seems to be either way expensive, or not particularly intuitive, e.g. LMMS. Drawing. I'd love to learn how to draw. I've honestly wanted to do astrophotography. I see lots of people taking awesome and beautiful pictures of deep space objects, and I kinda want to try it. Mostly what's been keeping me away is the pricing of it all, and that I think my current scope I have is too small. Beekeeping where I live currently is not a good spot. But one day, when I am able to find some land outside of the city, I absolutely plan on having my own bee colony so I can harvest fresh honey. Cross-stitching, crocheting. I want to buy a sailboat and sail the world. IDK how to sail. Makeup. Not that I would like to do it every day or enjoy it that much, but I would like to understand more of it. There's a lot of stuff, pencils, types of makeup, creams, what to apply, how. Programming. So many languages out there, I don't know where to start. Writing. I loved reading and always wanted to try writing. I have lots of ideas, but I'm not good with words or sentences. I know it can be improved with time, but I have my studies to think about. I know it just some lame excuses, and lots of successful people have done lots of thing in their study time, but I'm not those people. Urban exploration. Used to do it when I was younger and by myself. I'm older now and want to get back into it, but this time with a partner. I've asked friends and family, but they are scared. Role-playing. Be it tabletop or live action, that world has always fascinated me. I think I'd be more into the tabletop version now at adult age. There has just never been much of a scene for this that I know of, at least where I grew up, and I don't really hear much about it today either where I live now. I've always wanted to go rock climbing, but none of my friends or family want to come with me, and going to a rock gym on your own seems very daunting to me. Camping, hiking. Only problem is my wife isn't interested at all, and none of my friends will go for it either. Building miniature villages or stuff. I have some old Warhammer I was given, and I want to just build places for it. But I don't have the space to store anything I build anyway. Painting. It looks very soothing. I do some coloring, but I've always found it super hard to get into painting. Frisbee golf. I live right down the street from a huge frisbee golf course, and whenever I drive by it seems like they're having a lot of fun. Most of them enjoying a beer too due to favorable open container laws. I see people with bags and multiple frisbees, but I don't have anyone to play with. I guess I could go out and buy a few discs and just play on my own until I feel comfortable asking another group to play, but I don't know the etiquette. Looks neat though. Hopefully I would be better than Richard. Thanks for all the advice and suggestions. I am going to read up on type of discs and watch some videos first, then start getting the equipment. After that I will go from there, maybe even rig up a cooler, disc bag combo so I can make friends when I approach people. I'd like to get a private pilot's license. But I earn £30,000 a year, have a mortgage, kid, etc. Surfing. I live in a landlocked country. Skeptical smiley face. Running, I've tried but it's just exhausting. Edit, I just wanted to say that y'all got me back to running again today. No pain no gain. I've always wanted to get into Magic. Everyone else plays it, but I don't know how to get into the game on a budget, or even how the game works. I'd love to get into sewing. I've made a few simple cosplays for conventions, which I really enjoyed, but I'd love to learn how to make my own everyday clothing, too. I don't really know where to start. Home improvement. We've recently moved into a house requiring a lot of renovation and modernization, but otherwise structurally perfect. Things like laying flooring, installing a bathroom, making a deck. I want to get into woodworking with traditional hand tools, but I have no idea where to start. I love figure skating, but unfortunately there is no ice rink in my area. I really want to play the violin, but there's pretty much nowhere you can go to play a violin badly. So, I'm too cowardly to start. I want to learn French, but I don't know how to continue. I know basic things, e.g. greetings, how to say my name, some simple verbs, but I want to be fluent in it and be able to read a difficult book, and I am nowhere near that. I'd love to start filming short films and just having fun with a camera, but as far I know, it requires a lot of time and energy to produce something, and besides full-time job I already have time-consuming courses, hobby, concept art, illustration. But would love to start someday. I would love to build mini houses in towns. Video games in general. None of my friends got into them and they look fun, but I just don't know where to start. I want to get into hang gliding. Lucid dreaming, not a hobby, but I'd love to try it. I was always really interested in singing. I have no musical talent whatsoever though and never touched an instrument. Calligraphy. I've always had terrible handwriting and the posts on our penmanshipron are simply beautiful. It also seems like a relaxing, cheap hobby to pick up, but I have no idea how or where to start. Bow hunting, archery. No idea where to start. I shoot shotgun competitively but have wanted to explore archery since I was little. We have a great archery facility outside of town and I feel super intimidated to start the process. Update, what a kind response from all of you. This gives me a great vibe and a new hope for starting this journey. As a girl, it can be intimidating to start new hobbies. I feel that when I walk in the door everybody assumes I have no clue what I'm doing. It took a long time for me to get started at the shooting park here, but like you all said, most everyone in a hobby is a decent person, except for a few asshats. I will look into the beginners classes at the facility and possibly talk my guy into letting me get a setup in the backyard. We live on a few acres so it is doable. Ballet, I really want to, and I found classes, but hey, money is always the problem since the classes are pretty expensive, but is something that I really want to do hopefully in the future. Smelting and machining. I don't have access to a shop. I've always thought it would be cool to play guitar. Chess. I know the mechanics and basic but I can't focus or whatnot. I'd love to try knife work. I always loved watching things like that. Riding a motorcycle. I think I'd love the freedom of the ride. Wind blowing, driving with no destination in mind. Just being one with myself. But the downside is the risks of motorcycles, in that they are inherently more dangerous than cars. A classmate of mine recently died after hitting his head directly on a mailbox.